Well, good evening, and welcome to the Nordschleife, the final round here of the Crest Autosport Raceroom League's DTM 92s. My name's Alex Everett, your commentator tonight on Crest Autosport TV. It's been 11 rounds, and we're on the 12th now. Since the start of the new year, it's been a long championship, and a thrilling one at that, but it all concludes tonight, here at the Nordschleife in Western Germany. Tonight's track, well, there it is in all its glory. The Green Hell, or the Green Heel as it's spelled on the overlay there. 12 miles, 13 miles nearly, and nearly 21 kilometers that these drivers will take on tonight in Western Germany, the rural region of Germany. 100 kilometers south of Colonia, 150 kilometers west of Frankfurt. It is the mammoth of motorsport, the circuit that everyone in the world knows or has heard of at least. 73 turns, 40 to the right and 33 to the left. If that's correct, I don't know, but it's surely a great number and a great spectacle. £6.80 to purchase this track on Raceroom, the biggest track, biggest price, but certainly worth your money as it is laser scanned, so it is one of the most accurate representations of the Nordschleife you'll get in sim racing. Over the years, the Nordschleife has hosted many a DTM rounds, which is our theme for tonight. Throughout the 80s, 90s and the 2000s, the Nordschleife has featured many times in that, and more recently, in touring car terms, WTCR and the WTCC have hosted at the Nordschleife for the Race of Germany many a times. The F1 Grand Prix came here for the German Grand Prix until 1975, when of course Niki Lauda had his near fatal crash. The 24 Hours of Nürburgring has been hosted here since 1970, and tonight we celebrate the life of Sabine Schmitz, the Queen of the Nordschleife, the Queen of the Nürburgring. Tonight's itinerary, a little bit different to what it has been the recent weeks on the Crest Autosport DTM, but qualifying will be 18 minutes. 8 more than the original 10 minutes, but plenty of time for the drivers to do a few laps of the Nordschleife, and it is an open session, so drivers have to do a full lap before they start. A flying lap here at the Nordschleife. Every second counts, and every millimetre of the track counts for these drivers in qualifying. Qualifying will decide the grid for both races tonight, as there is one less than there usually has been, as we need more laps. But a 21-minute race will be the first race of the night, where the grid is based on qualifying, as we said, and the feature race tonight will be 35 minutes as opposed to 30 minutes. Points in race 1 will be double that of the heats that we've had this season, and the points for the feature race, of course, is triple of what has been the heat points this season, which we'll go through very shortly, just to explain the points a little bit more. But we started off all them weeks ago, all them months ago, at Brands Hatch for the opening round of these 92s. Then it was Brands Hatch again for the 2020s. Zandvoort was round 2 of the 92s. Round 2 of the 2020s was Oschersleben. Round 3 of the 92s was Zolder. And round 3 of the 2020s was Lauschützring. We resumed and we went reverse order. The 2020s were next for round 4 at Salzburgring. Then the only street circuit of the championship, the Norrisring, was the 92s for round 4. Round 5, excuse me, for the 2020s was the Hockenheimring. Round 5 for the 92s was the Most Autodrome in Czechia. And the final round, 2 weeks ago at the 2020 championship, was hosted at the Nürburgring, where of course William Foyle took the victory there. But tonight, it is the outright championship that will be concluded, and the 92s, where of course William Foyle is leading them as well, so all eyes on him tonight. But it all concludes tonight. So here we are, drivers getting a little bit of practice before we get started. We will do a little bit more housekeeping. These are the cars that are on show today, and I believe all of them are being used. Plenty of Audis out there, the infamous four-wheel drive machines, the only four-wheel drive cars in the DTM 92s of the time. The BMW's the lighter car, and probably the more favoured of its lower horsepower and lower weight, means at this track, around the corners, it's going to be particularly quick. The Ford Mustang, the nastiest of all of them. A big growl to that engine, very heavy car and huge on horsepower. Sector 3 will be where the Ford Mustang definitely takes advantage over the others. The Mercedes, considered a bit of an all-round car. Quite loose on the rear end, but As an all-rounder car, it's very, very good through the corners and very, very quick due to its low weight. And the Opel Omega, not a particularly favoured car, as there was only one that featured in the real-life 92 season, and only one driving it tonight, coincidentally. But 400 brake horsepower, a little bit of a middle-of-the-road car, quite heavy and a little bit more horsepower, but certainly suffers with less oversteer, which means if understeer is your thing, the Opel is your car. And the points to be explained. Well, all the way through the season, the heat races, where there have been 2 heats in each round, it is not today. There's only 1 heat, therefore the points will be doubled. First place will get 80 points, second place will get 76, you get the gist. And the feature race, the second race of tonight, usually has been the third race, but the points stand on there, 120 up for grabs for the person who wins the feature race. So plenty of points and to gain, plenty of points to lose in both races tonight. Ballast, as you can see there, for race 1 it is based on the championship. For race 2 it is based on qualifying. So if you qualify pole here at the Nordschleife, it does get you to the front of the grid in both races tonight, but it also gives you 40 kilos of ballast. And reverse grid on the right there is to be ignored tonight, as there are no reverse grid races. So before we get started, a sit rep on the championship. I believe it was 3 weeks ago we had the last round of the 92s, which was at the Autodrom Moss circuit, where Stefan Navalov was very, very quick that night. He took pole position ahead of Alex Foyle and championship leader William Foyle. But Alex Foyle took the win in the heats, and Jeff Purkis bursting through the field to finish second, Navalov slipping down to third. William Foyle has taken many a Heat 2 wins this season. He took Heat 2 in Most as well. Andy Withers, who's had plenty of podiums this season, hasn't had many appearances compared to other drivers, but second place for him. And Jeff Purkis with another podium in third. But the Audis haven't really favoured the feature race, but it was 2 Mustangs on the podium for the feature race, definitely favouring them at the moment, as Jamie Dory, who has had sporadic appearances this season, took the win in the feature race in brilliant style, ahead of Stefan Navalov and Ola Jansson, who is second in the championship coming into tonight. And that did to the championship. William Foyle leads by 87 points ahead of Ola Jansson in the Mustang. Ian Deeney in the Mercedes is in third. He's been pretty unlucky with certain incidents, particularly in the 2020s, but in the 92s, sitting very healthy there in third place. Navalov only 1 point behind him, though, in fourth place. Jeff Purkis is in fifth, who's had not much luck in the feature races, but has been very strong in the heats. He sits fifth. Sixth is Albin Kjellgren, seventh Petter Nyström, and eighth is Alex Foyle, who has been very quick this season, but luck has not been on his side, with a couple of DNFs here and there. But the reason I went through the top 8 is because all of the top 8 technically or mathematically are in with a chance of winning the championship, as there's 200 points on offer for tonight and no drop rounds to be implemented as of now. They've all been implemented to tonight. All the way from 1st to 8th are technically in with a shot of getting first, but also 2nd to 13th are still technically battling for second in the championship. So plenty to watch tonight, plenty to be unfolded. And as we mentioned, championship, that's the wrong one, let's just update that. Okay, we haven't got the ballast, but it is based on the championship. So first gets 40 kilos, second gets 35 kilos, and it runs down in multiples of 5 down to 8th place. And the overall championship, William Foyle has already tied that up, but it's still a big battle going on for second place between Jeff Purkis, Alex Foyle and Stefan Navalov, all of which are racing tonight. And just before we get started on qualifying, we have plenty of events coming up. In particular, the Spa 50 event, hosted by us this year. Last year was hosted by XR Virtual Motorsports, but we'll be broadcasting that live. I'll be joined in the commentary booth by my good friend, Jake Sperry. But the Spa 50, a huge 50-lap race around Spa-Francorchamps on the 1st of May. Do tune in for that. But also, if you're wondering what's coming up next for Crest Autosport when it comes to leagues, well, we have a WTCR league coming up next. 12 rounds of that, all across basically a tour of Europe. Portimao, Aragon, Paul Ricard, Imola, Hungaroring, Most, Silverstone, Spa-Francorchamps, Zandvoort, Anderstorp, Red Bull Ring and Hockenheim. So do join our group, which you can find in the description of this live stream, to join the group and get involved in this championship, which features all the cars and all the liveries from all TCR categories on Raceroom. So here we go, qualifying is go. And Jeff Purkis, we can't see his time, was quickest in practice. William Foyle, who we're watching there, was second place, so good from William Foyle. Really all he needs to do tonight is just make sure he finishes the races and make sure he doesn't finish too far down the order. Jeff Purkis, who was quickest in practice, heads out on track. Now Jeff Purkis has been struggling in the feature races, as we mentioned, but in the heat he's been strong. But tonight, with longer races, it's yet to be seen whether it's going to favour the Audis or defavour them, if that's the right word, anymore, because they have struggled in the feature races due to how much tyre wear they go through. And I suppose we'll find out. And rumour is around the paddock that all cars will need at least one pit stop in the feature race, and that's surprising because most drivers have risked it and taken the cars and tyres to the end without a pit stop. But if they all need a pit stop, that's more to play for tonight, more in favour to the Audis. But I have been told by one of the Audi drivers themselves that they might require 2 pit stops in the Audi. So it'll be something to look out for. And that feature race will only be about 5 laps, so these drivers have got to decide early, and they've got to be very assertive in what they do. They'll need to decide if they're pitting and pick the right lap to do so. There's no fixed setup with these cars, so they have to choose their fuel, have to acquire a setup that gets them around the track the best. And there's such different corners around the Nordschleife, it's pretty hard to nail down a setup. So other drivers to look out for tonight. Well, we have a newbie. We do, and I have to try and pronounce this right. Anastasios Georgiades from Greece, in the team Just Me. So I assume he's a privateer. But a newcomer tonight, late, but still welcome nonetheless. Anastasios will be in the Mercedes tonight. And I think that's the Jacques Lafitte livery. Who else have we got to look out for tonight? Well, William Foyle, of course. Won many races this season. And in fact has won 4 races this season. Heats haven't really been his forte, let's say, in these, as it definitely suits the Audis. But he got his first heat win in the 92s at Most in Heat 2. Other than that, he's won 3 feature races, which were at Brands Hatch, Zandvoort and Zolder. The latter part of the season hasn't really favoured William Foyle, with a disconnection, or he couldn't connect to the server, should we say, for Norris Ring feature race. And he managed 8th, 4th and a heat win at Most. So we'll have to see how he'll do tonight. I mean, the Nordschleife, a very, very long track, and it definitely requires more practice, and those who practice the most will be rewarded here, I suppose. But yeah, look out for William Foyle tonight in that black and silver Mercedes. Alex Foyle, brother of William Foyle, is another one to look out for. Been very, very quick all season. Has picked up a few wins here and there, but has had a little bit of bad luck along the way as well. Alex Foyle is the one with the most wins this season. All have been in heats though. He won 2 at Brands Hatch, he won 2 at Zolder, he won 2 at Norris Ring, and he won 1 at Most. But he has had 2 DNFs and a DNS in the feature race of Zolder. So, without all that, you could say that Alex Foyle would have been in with a big shot of the championship. Heike and Navalov had a really good meeting out at Most last time out. He's certainly one to look out for, as the beginning part of the season he was super, super quick. The second half of the season, particularly the mid part of the season, his results have let him down a little bit, but Most was a really good meeting for him. He's on the charge for second in the championship, being only 22 points behind second coming into tonight. Second in the championship to mention is Ola Jansson, as he comes through the banked corner that is synonymous with this track. Ola Jansson second in the championship, 87 points behind William Foyle. It's not a lost cause, as there's plenty points to gain tonight, but he'll be certainly having his eyes more on finishing second in the championship tonight in the beefy Mustang. Third in the championship, Ian Deeney. Teammates with Ola Jansson, I believe, of Gavra Racing in the green and gold Mercedes there. Ian Deeney has been extremely unlucky throughout the season, been involved in a few incidents here and there, not many of them being his fault, but the latter part of the season in these 92s, Ian Deeney's been strong. A couple of podiums here and there. In fact, only one top three, do excuse me, in the feature race of Zolder, but good consistent results have got him third in the championship thus far. So let's see who's further along the track. Well, William Foyle is heading the pack as they approach the final phase of the outlap, and then they'll start a new lap, which will give them probably only one flying lap, to be honest, so it really all counts there. That's all these drivers will get, is one flying lap, so they can't really make a mistake. William Foyle is heading the pack as he heads towards that infamous long straight, which will start your arrive and drive lap if you come for a customer lap of the Nordschleife. And here we go, on to the big long straight. So let's go on board just to see how long this back straight is here at the Nordschleife. You see the tower on the hill on the top right there as we start to go up the hill, and we'll go over the crest and downhill, plunging into the final few corners of the lap. Under the bridge we go, and now we start going down the hill, and the braking will start very shortly just at the bottom of this hill now. Very twitchy rear end on William Foyle's Mercedes there as he comes into the slow second gear section. Pit lane is to the right there. That's where we'll expect people to go, and turn left there for the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit, but we're turning right as we start a new lap of the Nordschleife. Now, I would say let's do a whole lap on the board with William Foyle, but I can't name every corner, and it'd be a very long lap. But stay on board for a little bit longer. William Foyle taking all the track, trying to get the best. Oh, it's a very, very wide run coming into the corner there, but William Foyle managed to look after it just about right. We'll see the track map. William Foyle's on the bottom left there. You can see his name lit up in green. We've got Gabriel Lopez up ahead. Will he be able to get a lap in? I'm not too sure. Now onto one of the fastest parts of the track. There's three real quick sections, and this is the bump that we're about to go over where the cars will go airborne. There we go, slightly airborne as he comes through the long, fast right-hander. Now onto another near straight section, flat out all the way down here, getting near to